Mario Cristobal in number 23 Oregon hosting in-state foe Portland State from the FCS level here at Autzen Stadium on this Saturday morning as the Vikings, located about 2 hours away up in Portland. And with more on how the Vikings got down here to Autzen Stadium, we send it down to Lewis Johnson.
Well, none of these things apply to Portland State because for them, it's all about the bus. It's the way they get around. And this weekend, it's about these buses right here. So bus travel is really just a part of the financial reality for the Vikings. And today, it was a 6:30 a.m. departure from campus in Portland for the short trip here to Eugene. And really, it's just a small part of all the mileage they collect in what they call the Americana Tour. Last week, it was over 1,000 miles each way to Nevada. 2 more long trips are coming up, one to Montana and then to Sacramento State later in the season. Over 4,000 miles to be traveled in 2018. Head coach Bruce Barnum was telling us that this is really the way his team travels as part of their fiber, and he believes it's helped to unify them with fun experiences, interesting stops along these long journeys, and they've got more movies than a local Cineplex on side these coaches. Good food, and most importantly, he said, they communicate with each other. Well, Roxy, Anthony, we'll have to talk about more of these travel stories later in the game. A lot of fun stuff's happened on the road for Portland State.
Yeah, the Americana Tour. And Bruce Barnum telling us earlier this weekend they'll get out at certain points and go see historic things, whether it's stopping to see the Grand Canyon or stopping to see the world's tallest thermometer. They make sure that they hit something significant on every bus trip.
What I like is that it's something that could be construed as a difficult situation. You don't necessarily want to be on the bus quite as much as Portland State is, but Bruce Barnum has done a nice job of taking that and spinning it into a positive, trying to get something that's team building out of all that time.
Mario Cristobal, his first full season as the Oregon head coach, of course, was named the head coach of the Ducks prior to their Las Vegas Bowl appearance last year. 58-24. Oregon clobbered Bowling Green here in his home debut as Justin Herbert, 5 touchdown passes, a touchdown run last week, becoming just the second Oregon quarterback to accomplish that. The other guy is some guy named Mariota.
May have heard of him?
Yeah, that's the Heisman Trophy or something that he won. The Ducks last week, 504 yards of total offense, and they got down 10-0, and a quick start is something Mario Cristobal talked at length with us this week. Short kickoff and a fair catch made by Portland State. And it'll come out to the 25-yard line with the new rule this year. And Jelani Eason, a late surprising start for Portland State. The sophomore from L.A. instead of Davis Alexander, who started their opener against Nevada.
I'm guessing there's multiple reasons for this. Bruce Barnum did tell us we'd see both quarterbacks, and we must remember he's back to calling the offense, not only the head coach, but the offensive coordinator this year. So 2 different styles. With Eason at quarterback, there will be more of a run game involved from the quarterback position. He'll be a threat, and they'll try to control the clock, I would imagine, against this Oregon.
Ducks 8 for 8 in the red zone today. And they're an extra point that is blocked, the low line drive, and Emerson misses. And it's 62-14 Ducks with 1:38 to play. But again, for Oregon, after 58 points last week against Bowling Green. And here is that low extra point that was blocked at the line by Jake Porter. But for the Ducks, back-to-back 50-plus point games to open a season for just the second time in program history. They did it in each of the first 5 games back in 2013. 58 last week and 62 with 1:38 to go here against Portland State. And here is the scoring year by year for the Ducks, where they rank in the conference and national.
Big numbers as per usual. The Oregon offense, and comparatively with last week, you're asking me comparing what took place versus Bowling Green to today. One thing that stands out, 4 drops in last week's game, only 2 drops so far in the game today. And both were early. So from there, after suffering a couple of early drops, been able to see this ball club start to catch the ball more cleanly, and the difference it makes with just the constant rhythm your offense can stay in, even if you're not catching it for a chunk play.
The kickoff from Emerson. And another fair catch. We'll bring it out to the 25 for Portland State. Well, Herbert and this offense through the first couple of games averaging 60 points a game, and Justin Herbert with 9 touchdown passes in his first 2 weeks.
Although 3 penalties in last week's game, 5 penalties so far in today's game.
And again, San Jose State, Brent Brennan and the Spartans come to Autzen next week. And you can watch them tonight against the Cougs on Pac-12 Network at 8 o'clock. Talk about a long night for San Jose State. They're going to play that game, which starts at 8, as Carlos Martin, the ball carrier. Rather, that's Antoine Williams wrestled down by Popo Amuvai. So they play that game at 8. The way Washington State plays, that game could end around midnight, right?
Ish, yeah.
You're flying out of Lewiston, which San Jose State is doing. Best case scenario, wheels up at 1:30, 1:45. And it's a 2-hour flight down to the Bay Area. And keep in mind that there's a curfew at San Jose Mineta International Airport. So you can't land there after 11 p.m. So they have to land in Oakland and drive about 45 minutes to an hour down the 880 to campus. They cut over on the 280. Brent Brennan's team will probably get back to their facility right next to Spartan Stadium at roughly 5 in the morning.
Not that you have much knowledge of the area at all.
Chase Morrison gets the carry.
But you think about the fortitude of Pac-12 viewers today. 4 games on the network. So we talk a lot about Pac-12 after dark. I mean, they're starting with us today, Pac-12 before brunch. 4 throughout the day. Got the dogs coming up.
A lot of our crew is here before daylight. So Pac-12 before daylight today.
There you go.
For them.
Folks I saw in the parking lot, though, actually, there were some folks who slept here last night in one of the parking lots.
Anthony Herron was not one of them.
I was not, no.
Antoine Williams dancing around. Poe Paletti Gore on the tackle. Walk on is Mario Cristobal. Comes across the field to shake hands with Bruce Barnum, and a huge win for number 23 Oregon. For those of you watching on Pac-12 Network, we take you now to Seattle, where number 9 Washington hosts North Dakota. For those watching on Pac-12 Oregon, stick around after the break for more post-game coverage. Huge day for Justin Herbert and the Ducks, who win big over Portland State.
And we welcome you all to Seattle, as that punt is going to be down by Washington on their first possession. The Huskies got 1 first down, and then